Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the wrestling show. We were doing a little moment of silence there for Jay Briscoe, who sadly passed away this week after an automobile accident. Where him and the driver of the other car were both killed. So
that could have been up that way, echoing down, right? Okay.
Good Lord. Anyway, where was I before I was interrupted? Yeah, him and the other driver were both killed. At least one of his daughters was in critical condition in the hospital. Haven't heard any updates since then. Cause of the accident, I haven't seen having been released yet. So it's a bad situation all the way around, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and we hope for his daughter's swift recovery. And also thoughts go out to the family of the other driver as well. Hopefully hopefully this was not a result of human actions and was a legitimate accident. It happened 5:30 on Tuesday afternoon. If I remember correctly, that was what day it happened. So I woke up the next day and saw the story. Tried doing a live stream. Didn't have anybody with me. I was just doing a quick live stream to get the story out, and apparently didn't have any audio.
Well, yeah, I seen it. I didn't actually hear it.
Yeah. I kept the video up because, I guess, I don't know why I kept it up, but I did. It was almost like it wasn't meant to have sound for that one, because I did a diagnostic after I noticed Kingpin had said that there wasn't any audio on the video, because I didn't have StreamYard open in the YouTube chat because I was looking at the Fox News website, the story I was, going off of. So I had no idea that I had no audio. I was talking for close to 5 minutes and nobody heard a word I said. But yeah, did you ever get to see the Briscoes wrestle, Buck? On any? I don't remember if they were on any of the pay-per-views.
I used to watch him all the time.
I mean, they're probably the best tag team to have never wrestled for WWE. Hands down.
Weren't they supposed to be, I'm thinking because they had the same name as Briscoe.
Yeah, you're thinking
I thought they were supposed to be their sons or something.
No, they're not. They're no relation.
Yeah. I figured that out after I seen his real name up there.
Yeah. And the old Briscoes was it Jerry and what the hell was this?
Oh man, we went through this
last.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Gerald.
Yeah, Jerry is Gerald, and then there's.
Oh, that's what I said last week.
Is it Jack?
Jack Briscoe, yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry and Jack Briscoe.
Yeah, I don't think they spelt their name with an E at the end.
I just knew it was Briscoe, so
yeah.
I just kind of put two and two together and thought it was.
Really?
Or maybe that's what they were going for or something.
Maybe. But, well, their dad was involved with their wrestling gimmick the whole time. Like, he would make appearances and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you take away FTR and the Young Bucks and move them to the side. The Briscoes are probably the best tag team in the world. And even throwing the Bucks and FTR back in, it's still close as to who's the top tag team. This in the modern era, that is. You know what I mean? If the Bucks are the Rock and Roll Express and FTR is a combination of the Midnight Express and Tully and Arn, the Briscoes were this generation's Road Warriors.
Yeah, I remember they were pretty good. I seen them take a hell of a beating and give a hell of a beating.
Oh man, that double dog collar match from Final Battle last year in December, where the Briscoes won the ROH tag titles back from um, FTR, that was brutal. I mean, we talked about that
Yeah.
on the show before. FTR came out wearing white trunks. They left wearing red. I mean, it's
Oh
no
yeah, I remember
joke.
you saying that.
It's no joke, man. If you haven't seen that match, find it somewhere and watch it. When I say they came out wearing white and left in red, I absolutely mean it. That's not a joke. Both teams bled. That the referee was bleeding. I mean
Damn.
that match was absolutely brutal. That was my match of the year last year, I think, or one of.
Yeah, I
At
remember
any
you
rate,
talking about that.
yeah.
So you heard anything else about Vince
We
on what's
can
going
get to
on with
that in
them?
a little bit, but
All right.
I'm gonna stick to this a little bit because everybody knows that the Briscoes from their tag team wrestling. I mean, they're 13-time ROH World Tag Team Champions and one-time New Japan IWGP Tag Team Champions, but they've also been New Japan's never Openweight Tag Team Champions with Toru Yano, and then in Ring of Honor they were the six-man champions with Bully Ray, who most people may know as Bubba Ray Dudley,
Yeah.
and then as a single wrestler, Jay Briscoe was a two-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. So he was
Was
not good.
was Ring of Honor the only place they wrestled, or did they wrestle somewhere else?
The vast majority of their career was in Ring of Honor. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
that's the only
briefly
time I've seen them.
they briefly signed with Impact last year, did a couple of shows for Impact, and then they signed with AEW, and it was presumed that they were going to be used on the Ring of Honor when Ring of Honor started up, which apparently Tony Khan has restarted Ring of Honor's streaming service, which is Web of Honor, I think it is, something like that. But and they had a tribute show that they recorded Wednesday night after Dynamite that went up on their streaming, was supposed to go up on their streaming service, and that was going to be free. You didn't have to have a subscription to their streaming service to watch it. So I haven't got a chance to go see it yet, but that's on my to-do list. His brother, for obvious reasons, wasn't there. It's being thought that they'll probably have him do like a video thing that they'll edit in after the fact.
And they were real brothers.
Yes, they were real brothers.
Okay. I know a lot of people going in and say they're brothers and everything, and come to find out they ain't no kin and stuff.
Yeah, they were months apart. Jay was just about to turn 39, and his brother Mark had just turned 38.
Yeah.
And they tried out once for WWE and were denied. And a couple years ago, Vince tried getting them to sign with him, and they told him to shove it up his ass, essentially. You know,
That's
we
good for
weren't good
them.
enough for you a couple years ago when we tried out. Why would we be good enough for you now? Basically, is what they told him. So, yeah.
I believe that's the only reason I really watched the Ring of Honor, just to watch them. Because every time I flip through it, I see them wrestling. I just kind of stayed there and watched it.
Yeah, them
'Cause it,
were
all the
bull.
matches were very entertaining.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Ring of Honor. If I was watching Ring of Honor, it's because the Briscoes or Bullet Club was going to be on. But there's been a lot of big names that have passed through Ring of Honor at some point or another.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins when he was going by Tyler Black,
Oh,
Bryan
really?
Danielson, um,
Yeah.
CM Punk, you know, the Briscoes, obviously, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole. I mean, there've been a lot
I
of the
remember seeing Adam Cole there.
yeah, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn rings a bell there.
He's the one that you were just asking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
him
yeah,
in
yeah.
Roman Reigns.
But I'm talking about kind of rings a bell. I think I've seen him there
Yeah,
before
he
in the
was El
Ring of Honor.
Generico in Ring of Honor.
Oh, one of them weird names.
Yeah. He may have gone by his real name at some point. I don't remember. I remember him going by El Generico, and him and Kevin Owens, who went by Kevin Steen at the time, were having a friendship feud, kind of like they do in WWE. Basically, they took their Ring of Honor gimmick with the two of them as friends and enemies, and made it just plopped that right down in WWE and ran with it over there too.
Huh.
Yeah, and if you look at the Twitter feeds of different wrestlers and stuff that have put out comments about it, nobody has had a bad word to say about Jay Briscoe whatsoever.
Oh no, I'm sure they're not.
No, he was one of the nicest guys. Everybody will tell you this. People who don't like each other normally uh, have said that Jay Briscoe was the one guy in the locker room that everybody would talk to. You know, that if you were a young up and comer, he had time for you, and a lot of he had a lot of friends all around the business and different promotions and stuff because of just the way him and his brother actually were, in the locker room and stuff. When you talk about locker room leaders, as far as Ring of Honor is concerned, that they were the locker room leaders. They were the guys that everybody could turn to if they had a problem, and they could help them out and whatnot. So it's a big loss for the wrestling community. His
Oh
passing
yeah.
rate. So. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes on with the. I know it's still early. Maybe we shouldn't be taught, but what do they do with the tag team titles now? I mean, the two of them had just won the belts. I mean, it wasn't even a month. It's just about a month ago now that they won the championships.
Yeah, I'm sure they ain't thinking about that right now.
No,
But he'll probably lose it, I guess.
well, yeah, they're
Or
gonna
would he
have
have a
to.
chance to get somebody else
Yeah,
to
but would
fill
he?
in? Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to do because they've been wrestling together ever since they started, right?
20 some years, man. They started when they were kids. They would wear masks to hide how young they were when they would wrestle when they were first starting out. Kingpin out there in the chat says he's on his way in about
Yeah.
15 minutes or so.
I mean, is his brother going to wrestle anymore? You know?
Well, they both have wrestled as single wrestlers in the past, so
Oh, they have?
yeah. I remember I was just saying about how Jay was the
Oh, yeah.
two-time world heavyweight champion for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but it's been a while, though, I guess. We say
Wasn't that
20
long
years
ago.
they've been together?
Yeah, 20 years they've been together. Yeah. Usually when they wrestled solos, because the other one was injured. I think the two of them actually had a feud over the Ring of Honor world title at one point, where the two of them were going at each other for the belt.
I think so. I remember something about that.
But a friendly rivalry kind of thing.
Yeah. I said, oh, Lord, here we go. There's another tag team going to split up over the belt.
Hmm. Well, when your tag team at the time is the top two guys in the company, and one of you's got the world title, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
What was Power's Boots line from you know Red Dawn? Two biggest kids on a block. Sooner or later, they're gonna fight.
Oh, yeah. Especially when one thinking better than the other and then stuff like that. But I thought both of them were pretty well matched together, as far as their ability.
Oh yeah.
One was just as good as the other one.
and they always knew what the other one was doing in the ring.
Yeah.
You watch the two of them, even the matches, them and FTR, the two matches they had prior to the double dog collar match, you were watching two of the best tag teams in the world in that match, and both teams were seamless without they didn't have to talk to each other. They just knew what the other one was going to do because both teams have been together for so long as tag teams. They just knew each other's moves and whatnot inside out. They knew exactly what the other one was going to be doing. You don't see that a lot anymore because a lot of tag teams are just people that were thrown together.
Yeah, I know.
You know, the only other team right now I could think of that's been long-term tag team, or two tag teams, would be the Young Bucks, who are also brothers, and the Usos, who are also brothers. The Usos are twins.
Yeah. And then they got baby brother in there. It's bigger than both of them.
Mm-hmm. But they're the only tag teams that are old school style tag teams that have been together forever. Everybody else has been tag team for a few years at most because they just randomly got thrown together as a tag team.
Nowadays, the way they throwing people in and out of the ring, and well, you know, moving them here, moving them there, it's hard to find somebody that you can actually get in there and click with and work with good. Because it seems like they keep changing partners so damn much.
Yeah. Now, a tag team that could be in the same mold that's over in AEW would be Top Flight. And again, they're brothers.
Now, all these guys you talking about are actually, well, I know the Uzos are, but the Type Flights, they're actual brothers.
Yeah, they're actual brothers.
Blood Kin.
The only team that the ones I've mentioned that isn't is FTR. But those guys have been friends since they were kids.
Oh, so they already know, you know, they know each other pretty much.
Yeah, they might as well be brothers.
Well
it's like it's like Edge and Christian. You know, they might as well be brothers. Yeah. The top four tag teams prior to this, only one of them wasn't a set of brothers, and that was FTR. The Briscoes, the Young Bucks, and the Usos are all brothers. Those would be my top four tag teams right now. Prior, of course, to the untimely passing of Jay Briscoe. Again, thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and especially for his young daughter, who, what last I heard, was in critical condition. So hopefully she's going to be okay and makes a fast recovery. It's a bad situation for that family right now. So we wish them all the best in the world, and rest in peace to one of the all-time greats, and especially in tag team wrestling, and probably the best tag team again to never wrestle for WWE. I mean, it's a sad time for them, and wish them all the best. So. Now we can move on. I mean,
it's been a sad day for them, for their family.
So, you were asking about Vince.
Yeah, I've been watching a couple of videos on YouTube and shit. Whole lot of shit going on, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely looks like they're selling the company, because now they're talking about more people getting staff members, not wrestlers, but staff wrestlers, staff members. Damn, I'll get it right. Staff members that are going to lose their positions. And then on top of that, the sexual assault allegations from way back in the 80s, Vince settled out of court Which, and you got a lot of people like, oh, that means he's guilty. No, that just means that the business is paying to make a pain in the ass that's been dogging them for years go away. Which, that's standard operating procedure. Anybody who follows business in any way, shape, or form knows that a business will settle, especially a major corporation, they will settle a lawsuit just to make it go away without any
Yeah.
admission of guilt or anything. It's just cheaper to pay somebody $2 million than take millions upon millions of dollars to fight it in court.
Yeah, I did see that on where he was they paid it off.
You know,
Are they still selling to Saudi Arabia? Or have they said yet?
well, now the story is that was premature and that no, that sale was never finalized. So, but they're not saying that the sale isn't on the table, just that it wasn't finalized. So, your guess is as good as mine on that one. I think we touched on that briefly last week. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
But there, Disney and Comcast and somebody else are all players in this too. I don't remember who the other one was. My favorite one, I think we talked about it last week, was Tony Khan saying that he wants to merge with WWE.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. But like you said, I don't think he got enough cash in his pocket.
No, him and his dad, they don't have the money to compete with Comcast or Disney or the Saudis for damn sure.
Well, whoever gets a WWE won't be the same.
No, I don't think it's going to change very much if the Saudis get a hold of it. The Saudi prince is the crown prince who runs the company that was in the story about buying it, is a huge wrestling fan. That's why they do the one or two Saudi shows every year.
Oh, okay.
I don't think under him it'll change. My biggest fear is that Disney gets a hold of it.
Oh, yeah.
Look what Disney did to Star Wars and Marvel. So I said that last week. I don't look forward to Disney purchasing it. Comcast, I have no idea what they would do with it, but Disney, yeah, they'll run that company into the ground just
If
like they have.
Comcast gets you paying to watch that shit.
Well, Comcast already has the pay-per-views on there. Comcast owns
Yeah, I'm
Peacock.
talking about regular wrestling, probably. Well, you had to have the only place you can get it would be Comcast, and
Well, Raw's already on Peacock because Comcast owns NBC Universal, which is the parent company of USA Network.
all right. Let me ask you this: if Comcast does buy it, would they take it off Peacock, or would they have to? Would they actually have to wait till after the contract's up?
No, Peacock. Comcast owns Peacock.
Oh, it does. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Peacock is NBC's streaming service, and Comcast is the parent company of NBC Universal. Okay. So yeah, none of that would change. If anything would change, it would be whether SmackDown would stay on Fox, because Fox's parent company is Disney. So
yeah,
that would be the one where there might be a conflict of interest. That I don't see that contract getting renewed if Comcast buys it.
like you say, I hope nobody buys this shit.
Well, somebody's going to, because that's the whole reason why Vince supposedly came back, was to facilitate the sale of the company.
Right.
So, yeah. It just remains to be seen who buys it, when, and how long it takes to get everything switched over to the new ownership.
I think we ought to put our bid in on it.
Yeah. I don't think we can raise that much money on Patreon.
We'd always get a GoFundMe.
I don't know if we'd be able to do that either. One crazy rumor that was going around was that if Saudi buys it, Vince will be in charge of creative again.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So, did you ever hear a price on how much they selling it for?
No, that depends on what the winning bidder wants to spend, I suppose. But no, I haven't heard any numbers spoken about now.
I'm sure it's going for a good chunk.
Oh, it's going to be a pretty penny.
Yeah.
You figure the deal that they have with Saudi right now is 10 years, $10 billion. Just to do one or two live shows a year over in Saudi Arabia.
Damn.
So you figure it's gonna you're talking at least $20 billion probably selling price. Be my guess anyway. The deal they have with Fox for SmackDown was $1 billion a year for 5 years for Fox to have SmackDown. So that was a $5 billion contract there.
Damn. I wish I had money like that.
I don't know what Comcast is paying for Raw right now, so can't give you those numbers. But I remember when it was a big thing when Fox got SmackDown that they were paying $5 billion for 5 years, which comes out to $1 billion a year.
Didn't they used to be on TNT?
No, WCW was on TNT back in the day.
WCW, okay.
Yeah. Which is why Nitro got the name Nitro, because it was on TNT. What's the N in TNT stand for? Nitro.
Oh, yeah. I think TBS had some too, didn't they?
Yeah, TBS had Thunder. And then before that, TBS was the reason why this show starts at 8:05. TBS had World Championship Wrestling on Saturday nights, and before that, they had Georgia Championship Wrestling. In between there was a brief time where Vince had gotten his hands on the time slot.
Yeah.
Because somebody stabbed Ole Anderson in the back. But that's a story for another time. Kingpin says a few more minutes until he's home. Take your time. We don't need you doing. Oh, no, I'm not going to make a joke. I was going to make a joke, but it would be in bad taste because it's too soon.
Yeah. Too soon.
Too soon. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah, after I seen your live chat, I was looking through the internet, YouTube and stuff. I didn't really see much on it. Just a few wrestlers did a little thing on them. That's about it.
Cultaholic, dude.
Sure.
That's where I first saw the story. Was actually Cultaholic's video.
Huh.
But I didn't see anybody else really do anything about it. Which struck me as odd.
Yeah,
doesn't mean nobody did.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, odd, weird, same difference.
Yeah.
They're synonyms for each other. But other than the Jay Briscoe thing, it's really has been a slow week.
Yeah, it has.
It really has. That kind of overshadowed everything else.
I've been watching a lot of that Roman Reigns and Sammy crap they got going on.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to boot him out.
Yeah, so well, we've been speculating on that the past
Yeah.
few weeks. I think they're going to have him and Kevin go and take at least one of the championships off the Usos, if not both. But there was talk that they were wanting to split the titles up again, at least the tag team titles, so that would make sense. And of course, there's talk in the vignettes that Cody is going to be coming back and being in the Royal Rumble.
No, he
He may,
is.
yeah.
Have you ever heard anything from Big E
He's not going to
with it?
know anything. The last I heard was until March, because he has to go because it'll be a year in March, and he has to go for his 1 year evaluation, and that'll let him know whether he's going to be able to ever get back in the ring or not. So he won't know for sure until March what's going on. It all depends on how he's healing and stuff.
Well, if it's that damn bad, I wouldn't even attempt it. You know?
With when it comes to a broken neck like what he had, they don't rush people back. They take their time
No.
with that. Yeah, 'cause you got a broken neck, one false move in the ring, and you're paralyzed at worst. You know,
Yeah, I know.
it's not like tearing your MCL or something like that. Neck injury is very serious. And even guys that have had broken necks and came back, there were stipulations with them coming back. Like Stone Cold, for example, when he had injured his neck and came back after neck surgery, there were certain moves that his opponents couldn't do on him, even though his neck was repaired and he was cleared because of the fact that there was one wrong bump and he could have been paralyzed.
Yeah, that's what would scare me. If I broke my neck, I,
Hmm.
I wouldn't probably hardly do anything.
Well, there's different types of neck fractures.
Yeah, there's good
The,
ones and there's bad ones.
yeah, there's some a couple of months and you're good as new, and then there's other ones like what Big E has, and you're lucky to be walking. You know, so and another wrestler who had suffered a broken neck in the last 10 years or so was Tyson Kidd, and he never got in the ring again. He was never cleared to wrestle again.
Yeah, I've seen a video on him about that. I mean, the way the moves are going, they're getting faster and faster. It looks like to me.
Yeah. Well, what
Just
happened?
one wrong move.
Yeah, what happened? Samoa Joe and him were wrestling. I believe it was for the NXT Championship when Joe held it, and Joe went to do the muscle buster on him. Kid didn't tuck himself properly, and when he landed, snapped his neck.
Wow.
And him and Cesaro, you know, Claudio Castagnoli, were a tag team at the time. And if you noticed how Claudio does like a ring on both fingers with the tape, that's
Yeah.
uh, that's a shout out to Tyson Kidd. They called themselves the Brass Rings. That
Huh.
was their tag team, which was a play on something that Vince McMahon always said. You got to reach down and grab that brass ring. So the two of them called themselves the Brass Rings, and they wore, it's part of their ring gear. They taped both their finger, symbolizing they were the rings. And Cesaro's been or Claudio's been doing that ever since his injury. Show support to him.
It's just amazing nowadays, people don't get hurt more and more. Because just like that match we watched a couple weeks ago. Man, if that was me, I'll still be laid out.
Mm-hmm. I swear to God, man, I said it last week. I'll say it again. Kenny Omega needs to be put on suicide watch. He's trying to kill himself in the ring.
Yeah.
The very next week, almost a week to the day.
Oh, man.
They had that ladder match for the Trios Championships in AEW with the Death Triangle, which was insane.
I forgot about that. I meant to watch that ladder match, and I forgot all about it.
He went to do that Terminator dive that he does, where he, slaps the mat to the beat of the music from Terminator, and then he goes running and jumps over the top rope.
Yeah.
Went to do that on Pac on the table. Pac moves, and he goes crashing through the table. He's trying to kill himself, I swear. But, yeah, 2 weeks in a row, Kenny Omega had a legit match of the year candidate in 2 different promotions. And it's not even the end of January yet. There's a reason why in New Japan he was known as the best belt machine. When he's on top of his game. Man. Huh?
I said, the way I feel now, the way my body is aching, and that's just from holding my beer and watch this shit. And what they do, man, I know they got to be hurting.
Oh man, yeah, you watch that and then it's
they
like
exercise
you hurt
all the time.
You watch what they're doing and you hurt from watching it.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, watching that replay back of the Omega and Ospreay match, when Omega did that DDT and Ospreay hit his head on the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
When we were watching it, that was the second time I watched it, and I still winced. It's like, God damn.
I can still see that plain as day. I figured the referee would have called it after that.
Well,
but
yeah, Ospreay was bleeding like a stuffed pig, and it wasn't because he bleeded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an expression I never got. How does a stuffed pig bleed?
I don't know. Hang on for a minute, Rich. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, let's see, what else? It's been a slow week. Adam Cole made his return last week, so that... Okay. Talk about that. There really hasn't been a whole lot this week that super newsworthy stuff. Trying to think of anything, But again, like we said earlier, that Jay Briscoe's passing just overshadowed everything else. Then the lawsuit that Vince settled, but we already talked about that.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, as far as news, there really hasn't been a whole lot. The usual rumors of this person is going to be at the Royal Rumble or this person isn't going to be at the Royal Rumble, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I heard somebody else is coming back now. I can't think of who it was.
Well, there was some speculation that The Rock may come back, but he put out a tweet saying he's in no way in shape for WrestleMania, and he doesn't know if he could get himself in shape in time. And then you had people throwing it. How can he look at him? How can he say he's not in shape for WrestleMania? People don't understand. There is physical, your physique, and then there's your physical conditioning. They are
Yeah.
not the same. Just because you look like you hit the gym doesn't mean that you are out there working cardio.
Somebody else. I can't remember. Probably bug me all night now.
One of the rumors that came out earlier in the week was that Brock Lesnar's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. Omos is going to be in the Royal Rumble, so he's going to be your token really big guy that everybody tries eliminating.
Yeah.
You have him in there with a bunch of the smaller guys, and they're all going to try and eliminate him at once and all fail. But that's a Royal Rumble thing right there. You get the really big guy, whether it's Yokozuna, Andre. I don't know, was Andre ever in the Royal Rumble? He was in other Battle Royals, so we'll throw him in there. But like Andre the Giant or Big Show or guys like that everybody, you get all the littler guys trying to get together and throw them out of the ring, and one by one the big guy throws them all out of the ring instead.
I liked it when they cover the big guy up, and then all of a sudden you can't see him. Then all of a sudden you just see everybody flying off of him.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I think it was the 1993 Royal Rumble. Randy Savage and Yokozuna were the last two guys in the ring. Savage was so beat up he went for, and this is the storyline, he was so beat up that he went for a pin on Yokozuna. Yokozuna kicked out, and Savage went flying over the top rope. Yokozuna kicking out, and Yokozuna wins the Royal Rumble. That was 92 or 93.
I have seen some of them big guys do that. When they kick them off, they just go flying through the ring, through the ropes.
Yeah, Yokozuna kicked out, and Savage went flying over the top rope.
So anything come out in Japan wrestling?
No, they were off until I think they had a pay-per-view over there today. Actually, I think Wrestle Kingdom Part 2 was today, but no, it was. Where'd it go? It was just up here. Where'd it go? Yeah, that was today. That was earlier today. I haven't watched it. They wanted $30 for that, so I did not watch it. But that was like 7 o'clock, or no, 2 a.m. this morning.
So. Oh, hell no. I was
yeah,
just rolling
about
over
Japan, the time difference. 2 a.m. here is like 5 p.m. over there, so they're like 13 hours ahead of us. So maybe it was 3. Anyway, it was a while ago, just a few hours. Then they got Battle in the Valley coming up on the 18th, that one's going to be $22.70 approximately.
That ain't bad. Yeah. What time's that? 2 o'clock in the morning?
No, that's here in the United States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be at 9:20 in the evening on the East Coast. So be 8:20 your time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's out in California.
I remember when I moved out here, my nephew, I told him, I said, yeah, it's an hour difference in the time. He said, oh man, you could tell me who won the football games and we can make a lot of money. I
Don't
said,
work that way.
it don't come on any earlier. It comes on at the same time. I'm just in a different time zone.
Uh-huh.
Instead of come on at 12, mine comes on at 11. It took him a while to realize it.
Yeah. He thought you actually were living in the past. Or the future, or whatever. And by the time Kingpin gets in here, we're going to be done. Because we're running out of topics already.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was other than the Jay Briscoe thing, it really was a slow news week this week.
Yeah, it was.
There's not a whole lot to talk about that news stuff. I mean, last week we had a lot to talk about because we had been off for a couple of weeks. You know, the week before that we watched the match between Ospreay and Omega.
Yeah. Good one, good one.
Yeah, I told you guys, man, that was a hell of a match.
I'm glad we watched it that night.
That was the best match on Wrestle Kingdom last year. No, this year. I want to say last year. No, it was this year. That was the first week in January. That was January 4th, I believe. Yeah, because Wrestle Kingdom's always on January 4th. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Japanese culture is different than here. They don't do the weekend thing like we do. So whenever January 4th falls, that's when they have Wrestle Kingdom. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Kind of like Christmas. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. December 25th is Christmas.
Yeah. So any news come out of AEW? When's their next pay-per-view?
Their next pay-per-view is Revolution in March.
In March?
Yeah. They only do like 4 pay-per-views a year. But they'll have like special episodes of Dynamite, which are pay-per-view quality.
Any good thing coming out of that?
Well, they're still doing the build-up for that. Right now they're doing a storyline with MJF is going to be potentially defending the world title versus Brian Danielson in a 1-hour Iron Man match. Whoever gets the most pins or submissions in an hour wins.
That ought to be right good.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is that Brian Danielson is basically told MJF that he's not good enough to go a full hour. So, and to prove it, he's challenged him to a 1-hour Iron Man match. But to get the match, Daniel Bryan has to beat every opponent up until then and get to where he is the number 1 contender in AEW's rankings.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Daniel Bryan is a pretty good wrestler at times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he is. I'll give him that. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world. There's no doubt about that. The match, he's had 2 matches so far, if I remember right. One was against Takeshita, and the other one was against Bandito, and they were both really good matches.
I don't know if I knew that Bandito.
He is a former Ring of Honor world champion. He's a young guy. He wears the mask kind of like the Outlaw mask, You know, the Outlaws or the old
Yeah.
Western movies.
Yeah.
He's a little guy, but damn, he is a strong little guy. He's like Ivan Putski. He's the
Oh
Mexican
yeah.
Ivan Putski. But unlike Putski, he does the high flying kind of moves too. You know, he's a luchador, so of course he's got to do the high flying moves, right? It's almost a
Hell yeah.
prerequisite. And that's where the high flying stuff originated, was in Mexico, which was one of the things that helped WCW get to where they were, well, not just the NWO, but the cruiserweight division with all the luchadors, where they were, 83 weeks, they were getting better ratings than what WWE was. Which, by the way, is where Eric Bischoff got the name for his podcast, 83 Weeks. It was the 83 weeks that Nitro got better ratings than what Raw did.
Yeah, I miss all them old wrestling shows with the
Mm-hmm.
old guys I used to watch.
Yeah, that was the silver era. You go back into the 70s and 80s, that's the gold era. And in the 90s, that was the silver era. Back when, and then, you know, like in comics, how you have the golden era and then the silver era in DC Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
There was.
I go back on YouTube and watch them old videos, man. Shit. Bring back a lot of memories.
Mm-hmm.
I remember how much I used to hate them bastards.
Which bastards?
I don't know. I hated this guy one week and next one this week. I mean,
Yeah.
it changed week by week.
Ric Flair was absolutely hated, except in two places: Greensboro and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Everywhere else they went, they were booed. But now everybody acts like Ric Flair is just the greatest thing ever. Meanwhile, back in the '80s, people wanted to kill him, and they came close in Atlanta when they
Yeah,
broke
didn't he get
Dusty's leg.
stabbed or something in a bar or something? Didn't somebody
I don't know,
stab
but
Ric Flair?
I don't know about that. But well,
That's what I heard. It's been years
yeah,
ago when I heard it.
Kingpin made it.
Hey, Kingpin.
Evening, gentlemen.
So, how much have you heard? I don't know how long you were listening for.
None really.
Yeah,
Huh.
we started with the part with the Jay Briscoe, and I pretty much reiterated everything I said that nobody heard on Wednesday. Then we talked a little bit about Vince and settling the one lawsuit, but it's been a slow news week this week.
Did you watch any of the TV shows this week?
I watched Dynamite. That was all I got a chance to watch so far.
I think I watched all except for Darby Allin's match. The final match. I was just too tired and I went to sleep. All right, here's a topic for you. Roman Reigns. I think that Roman Reigns and the Honorable Uso are going to end up being teammates in against the tag team guys.
Didn't we talk about that last week?
Well, watching the show that was on the other day, I
I'm
guess
losing my headphones. Hold on. My headphones just slid off my head.
it was the Friday night show. Kevin Owens has been kicking the crap out of all of them recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wasn't listening to what they were saying, but I'm just watching the picture. And the fat guy, the Paul Weiland guy, seems like he understands that there's something weird going on between in the family, and he's kind of like taking the redhead dude's side, because the redhead dude said something, and Paul was behind his back, behind Roman's back, going like, "Oh, shut up, we'll talk about that later." But it seems like Roman's thinking through his head, are my brothers, are my like the tag team Usos, are they screwing me? Like, I think he's realizing that the new white dude, the honorary Uso, is really actually down for Roman Reigns, but not necessarily the tag team brothers. You know, because what's his face, the redhead dude was winning his match the other day, and the tag team brothers came in and cheated and cost him the match. So it seems like Roman's starting to understand that the bad guys are the tag team guys.
Yeah, I haven't watched SmackDown in like 2 weeks now, so I'm behind on that whole story. But what you're saying is, it sounds like Jay has gotten into Jimmy's head. Remember a few weeks ago, Jay was wanting to kill Sammy and everything, and then they had the thing where the two of them made up and everything.
Yeah, one of the tag team brothers has always been on the out, and I think he's convinced the other tag team brother to be on the out. And then the third crazy guy is just the third crazy guy.
Their younger brother,
Yeah.
Solo Sikoa. Oh, the redheaded guy, Sami Zayn, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I watched that NXT show. They do pretty good. You can really tell the difference when you're watching NXT compared to the other TV shows during the fillers. Like I was saying the other day, like the elbows and the punches and the knees and stuff like that, the filler moves in between like the acrobatic stuff. They're not really that good at that. And then there's a lot of times when they're setting up an acrobatic move and one guy's kind of like standing there waiting too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, why the hell didn't you get out of the way?
It's
Yeah,
not as fluent. There you go. It's not as fluent as like the
Fluid.
two other TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? This is my show, and you've been watching more wrestling lately than I have.
Yeah. Gives me a reason to turn my TV on.
Yeah.
And I haven't really been messing with the internet all that much.
You know, we lost Buck. So hopefully he comes back.
I just have a problem. Like I'm sitting there watching a show and I get interested. I'm like, oh, okay, we could talk about that thing that just happened. And then 5 minutes after it happened, I forgot what happened.
That's why you take notes.
You back with us, Buck?
Yeah, my damn internet went out.
Oh, that's lovely. We had a power outage the other day. Thursday morning, power went out. Somebody hit a pole or something. Knocked power out for 2.5, almost 3 hours.
That happened over the summer near my parents' house. Like this big, it's like a hay baler. You know, picks up bales of hay and shoots it into the back of another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the cab of it sits real high. And apparently, this guy tried to go under these power lines and got caught and ripped the telephone pole down.
Oh,
So my parents' power was out for like a day.
That's a lot of money right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember where that abandoned gas station is on 220 as you're heading from here to Cumberland, Kingpin.
Oh, no.
Okay, but
I don't remember the gas station that's around the corner from my house, man.
well, a couple of weeks ago, some semi lost control and took out the gas pumps there, and people were like, "Oh, thank God it didn't blow up," and all this other stuff. It's like it's an abandoned, closed gas station. There were no gas in those tanks.
Well,
Yeah.
gas stations are built so gas stations don't explode. That don't work like that.
Yeah, I know, but but these people thought that they still were storing gasoline in the tanks that feeding those pumps. It's like, no. When a gas
That's why
station
we have a gas
closes,
shortage.
yeah, when a gas station closes, they have to empty those tanks.
I'm pretty sure before they close, they sell all of it.
Yeah,
a lot of times they make them dig the tanks out of the ground.
yeah,
Like,
that too.
to keep the rest of the store up, a lot of times they make them pull the tanks out of the ground.
Yeah, they got to empty the tanks and then dig them up. Yeah, but these people actually thought there was still gasoline that it was that they were lucky that there wasn't a giant massive fire from it. I guess they don't know about the emergency cutoff that gas stations have either. A big red button behind the counter or something like that happens, you hit that button, cut the gasoline flow.
They usually have one right outside over there too.
Yeah.
Some of the newer gas stations, it's automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm trying to put this damn thermometer back up.
It sounds like you're messing with a candy wrapper or something.
That's what I was thinking. He's doing origami.
No, I was getting my temperature right on my pot. My lead melting pot.
You doing some casting now?
No, I'm going to do it in the morning.
Nice.
I was just getting the temperature set so I could just plug it up and unplug it and it'll be ready to go.
Are you collecting wheel weights yet, or are you still just buying chunks of lead, or how you doing your casting?
Right now, I'm buying them right now. I'm getting everything set up to where I can get them. I got two 55-gallon drums ready to go. Got two 5-gallon buckets. Got a cast iron pot. So all I need is the wheel weights and something to melt them on.
Nice.
It's slowly coming together.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about the wheel weights, once you can identify them, like just by looking at them, then when you're walking through the gas station parking lot, if you see one, just pick it up and pop it in your pocket, save it for later.
Hell, I work on big trucks, so any truck comes in there, that's the first thing I look at.
I forgot.
Buck's stealing the wheel weights up the semis.
I forgot that's what you do. Yeah, so you got an endless supply.
Yeah.
But
I like to get
something. Oh, good.
Nah, I just like to get good enough, like CW and all them guys, and to where I can mix it myself. You know.
As far as melting it, all you need is like one of those little propane camp stoves. That's what my uncle used to do lead when he would cast his own fishing sinkers.
Yeah, I was looking online, like on eBay for a turkey fryer or used one. And the best thing I could find for the price was over at Academy Sports. They have the whole base with the burner and everything for like $39.
Yeah. And my uncle used one of those small double burner camp stoves.
I got another guy at work. I was telling him what I was doing. He said he wants to come over and make some fishing weights. I said, well, you go find some goddamn lead. Mm-hmm. You bring the lead over, I melt it. He said, all right, hell yeah.
Yeah, doing fishing weights, sinkers, whatever you want to call them, that's not hard.
No.
Yeah, we used to make our own jig heads. You know, the weights where the weight's on the hook itself, and you put the little
Yeah.
rubber things on. Yeah. We used to make those ourselves instead of buying them at the store, and then we'd like rattle can the head of them, whatever color we wanted.
Yeah,
Correct.
my father-in-law, my stepfather, hey, we used to make them. All he had was a damn old cheap hot plate with a pot he got from
Yeah,
somewhere, and he took a pair of pliers and made a little spout on it.
that's all you need.
That's all he ever used. I think he was going to Walmart and stealing wheel weights too.
A hot plate, camp stove, something like that. That's all you need to
Yeah.
melt it. Lead has a very low melting temperature compared to other things. How did we get turned on to a god dang reloading chat? It's a wrestling chat.
Kingpin.
It's Kingpin's fault, and he don't even reload.
Yeah. I even got something else hooked up too, Kingpin. Oh, wait a minute here. Let me turn this around a little bit.
For that matter, I don't reload either.
You see my pot? And I got the hose run up there with the exhaust fan and on out the window. Let me turn this around a little bit
Your
more.
redneck extractor right
Hell
there, folks.
yeah.
Is that a dryer hose? Dryer lint hose you got on there?
Yep. Yep. I got one of 4-inch inline vents. Vent motor, or whatever you want to call it. Got one of those hooked up. So, some redneck
As long
shit
as it
right
works.
there. Yeah.
As long as it works, you gotta get those fumes out of there.
Yeah, I got a fan in the window too blowing out, so.
That's why my uncle always did it outside. Because of the fumes.
Yeah.
He'd be out there in the middle of winter melting lead.
Yeah, it's the best time to do it, man. That shit will warm you up.
Uh-huh. Well, I remember one year, he was out there in the middle of a blizzard melting lead.
No, I ain't going that far.
Well, he was a fanatic, man. Every weekend he was out there making more sinkers and shit.
My Michelin cowboy. He used to sit out on his porch and casting in the winter.
Yeah, I tried doing that, going outside. It was nice, but it took so damn long taking everything out, bringing everything back in. Because I didn't want to leave nothing outside, no lead or nothing. I won't leave my pot outside, so I had to wait till that cooled off. And being my first time, hell, it took me a while to get everything set up.
The pot my uncle used, it was a small one, you know, maybe a 1-quart pot, but it looked like a witch's kettle.
Yeah, I got one. I think mine is 5 quarts. I bought it at a thrift store around here.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe his was a 5-quart. But I remember it was one of the small ones. But it looked, the shape of it looked like a witch's kettle.
I was looking at some of them big ones, man, but man, they cost right much for what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I paid less than $20 for mine. I paid $17 for mine.
You don't need a super big one to do that kind of stuff.
Nah. So what you got left to get, Kingpin, for your reloading? Your start of reloading?
Man, there's only, I think I need to, I got 2 different presses. So I got to get the right dies to go. One of the presses I've got the right dies for, but I don't have the bullet holder. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then the other press, I'm missing something. I don't remember now. It's been so long since I looked at it, but mostly I gotta get the time and desire to sit down and get started.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Shit, I'm too damn tired after I get home from work to do anything.
One of the ideas I was gonna go with was I was gonna buy a box of primers at the next gun show. So now I'm like, all right, now I got primers sitting here. I gotta get started.
I got a old cast iron single stage press. That's what I got. Nothing else. Just an old, no dies, no nothing. Because my wife, when she packed that up, didn't bother grabbing the dies out of the basement. She just grabbed the old cast iron press. Left everything else.
You already get that thing out, Rich? Clean it up.
I ain't got nowhere to mount it right now.
Right on the end of that computer desk.
Dude, you've seen my computer desk.
Yeah, just move some stuff off the corner and bolt it right there.
Uh-huh.
It'd be good.
Uh-huh. I think that would probably break my desk. That damn thing is heavy.
I won't do any casting as long as I live here. When I move out of here, depending on where I end up going, I'll entertain some casting, but that won't be for many years.
Don't let Kingpin fool you, folks. He's been to my house. He has seen my computer desk, the laptop desk that I have a computer monitor on. That's not going to work for reloading.
Yeah, the thing I'm using for a hold my TV and my laptop and everything. My dog would get up under it and start scratching. Oh man, I got to hold everything down on the table. She moves the whole damn thing around.
Rick Mitchell's got a pretty nice setup.
Mm-hmm.
That little cart that he's got his reloading press on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen his or not.
You ever watched the show?
Yeah.
And then you've seen it. It's
Well,
in the corner of every. It's right there in the corner.
Oh, in the corner.
Yeah. Have you seen
when-
the?
Go ahead,
Okay.
Rick.
I was gonna say, have you seen the setup that Alan B Pro's putting together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're watching Rick's show, when you're looking at the screen, it's on the left hand, like the far left hand side of the screen is where Rick's reloading press is.
Yeah, I've watched the show, but I ain't never really paid attention. I always see his gun hanging up there.
On that rnldisplay.com
Yeah.
rifle display.
Yeah.
My father-in-law used to have a really nice reloading setup before he passed, and my mother-in-law gave all this stuff to my brother-in-law.
Foos had that automated thing set up back a couple of years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
he had
yeah.
that corporate reloader. Yeah, when he was trying to start up his own ammo company.
Matter of fact, I think I still got some of his ammo around here somewhere.
Yeah, I never did get any of it. Didn't have
Yeah,
the
I
money.
think I ended up buying 200 rounds, and I think I won 200 rounds from Kingpin.
How come
Way
you
back
didn't get?
when.
How come you didn't get any those rounds, Rich?
I didn't have the money time, and I don't know if I had a 9mm at that point.
Yeah, I know. Aren't you one of the guys who won And then was like, I don't even have a 9mm. Don't send me those.
Yeah, I don't have a 9mm. Pick somebody else to win or something. Or you were
I,
gonna send me ammo. And then you were gonna get me something else, and I don't think you ever did.
yeah, no, I said I'd send you a gift card, and I never did. Oh well.
Yeah, no big deal. You've sent enough other stuff. I ain't gonna worry about that. Like the time
If I
you
can,
randomly sent $50 for me to take for me and the wife to go out to dinner.
if I can make it to Pennsylvania, I'll buy you a coffee. That's usually where Rich would step in and say, I don't drink coffee.
No, I really don't.
Yeah, that's why I said coffee.
And the press room, they have free coffee for media anyway.
Oh, this is fancy.
Oh, dude, they had a whole spread. If a breakfast spread set up for media.
I hear commercials for it on the radio all the time now.
Was it that outdoor thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Great American Outdoor Show.
Yeah,
And it's
Great
funny every
American.
time I want to chat with Chris, he's like, "I still haven't gotten my approval for." I'm like, "Dude, calm down. You won't get it until with the 1 to 2 weeks out from showtime." He's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yes, that's exactly when I got mine last year."
That guy seems pretty solid, man. I like him.
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is decent.
He's on fire, too. Every time I turn on the YouTube, I have 500 more
Oh,
subscribers.
man.
100 more subscribers.
Shit, he's knocking it out with the videos.
Yeah, man.
He's put more SHOT Show videos out than anybody else has that I've seen.
Oh,
He's probably
yeah.
put more SHOT Show videos than I probably currently have on my old channel.
Yeah, he was killing it at SHOT Show.
Yeah, good for him, man. I think he's a nice dude.
Yeah, he's a hell of a nice guy. I think I might go up there when they do that shooting they do up there with Georgia Shooting Connection. I think they both go from Tennessee or Kentucky somewhere.
They were going to Dead Zero in Tennessee, but I think they have somewhere else that they want to go now.
Yeah, Bending Ballistics said they can come up to his range.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think Scotsman's supposed to be working out some details on it.
I was thinking today, and it was just kind of passing thoughts, but and spoiler alert, I'm gonna get all mushy about my friends. Man, it is so proud to be friends with guys that do stuff like you guys do. Travis is doing Thunder on the Prairie again, and everybody screams all over the internet about the that Dragon Man shoot and the AKE April shoot and the IB 80 shoot. Screw all those dudes. We got the Thunder on the Prairie brought to you by Travis P11 and Defense Dad. That is pretty boss right there, man. That's
Yeah.
boss.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like
I
to be
wouldn't
able to
mind
make
hitting
it
that this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'd rather do that than any of that other stuff. I mean, the Pennsylvania thing's an hour ride, so if I'm not working, then I can go up there. But I don't care about SHOT Show. I don't care about Watermaker. I don't care about NRA and any of that other crap. I'd rather go to Thunder on the Prairie than any of that stuff.
I think it's like a 8-hour drive for me if I go up there. I think that's what it was. Either 6 or 8 hours.
Well, up the Thunder on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like an hour and 20 to get to the Pennsylvania show.
It's like 3 to get to Harrisburg.
Yeah, I like to go up there and see Scotsman meet all of them when they do it. That's probably about 5 hours from me.
trying to think if there's anything else wrestling wise to talk about this week. There really isn't.
Like I said, if you remember any of the matches, we can talk about some of the matches and stuff, but I don't remember them well enough to bring them up. As soon as we get off the air, I'm going to be laying in my bed going, oh, yeah, that one person did that thing I should have talked about.
Top Flight and the Young Bucks had a pretty decent match. That's almost a Nitro.
That was the first match.
Dynamite.
That was like the first or second match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that masked dude that you were talking about, Bandito. Excuse me, sorry about that. You were talking about him being real strong, right?
Yeah.
I think he's too short. Because I was watching him, he was fighting Daniel Bryanson, right?
Yeah, Bryan Danielson, yeah.
So when he was trying to do some of the big power moves, it looked like the dude was a little too big for him.
I've seen him do those moves on bigger guys than Danielson without an issue. I don't know if there was something else going on that was hindering him being able to do it, or they were playing it off psychologically like it was because Danielson was trying to counter him at the same time. So that might have been part of it.
You can definitely see he's really, really strong. I was thinking the same thing myself, but I think maybe the height or something. Maybe he was just tired. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know who Roosh is, but he's done that move to Roosh, and Roosh is like much bigger than Bryan Danielson is.
It seemed like the crowd was pretty into the Bandito guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's over like Rover, man. Crowd loves him.
There was a couple times where Daniel Bryan would they'd be chanting Bandito's name, and he'd look out and be like, "What about me? What about me?"
But they had a good match, two of them. But that's pretty much all I remember from Dynamite.
The NXT show, that little cheerleader chick. Are you familiar with that little blonde-haired cheerleader chick?
Not off the top of my head, I'm not sure who you're talking
From
about.
the university, the U.
No.
All right. Do you remember the Will Ferrell Saturday Night Live pep rally people?
Vaguely. I really wasn't watching Saturday Night Live at that point.
Well, they're kind of like their version of that. And this little blonde haired girl's all super, yeah, cheer and jump all around. And she's never won a match. She won her first match, and surprisingly enough, technically she wrestled really well. Like, and the girl she wrestled against, they cheated so she could win. But and then that started a whole bunch of drama. But technically, they wrestled pretty well. The ladies in the NXT, there's a bunch of hot ones, and they do some fairly decent technical wrestling.
Like I said, I really haven't caught any NXT stuff in a while, and WWE, the past couple weeks I haven't had a chance to watch Raw or SmackDown, so I'm behind on the WWE stuff. That's for sure. I haven't got a chance to watch any of the New Japan stuff that's been happening either, for that matter.
The way I looked at it the past week, 2 weeks, is the internet is repetitive, and the wrestling is new to me, so it's all fresh. So I'd rather watch wrestling than a bunch of the garbage that's on the internet. And I really don't care about the pistol breaks, all that kind of junk. And it sucks, that I care about the Constitution and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. Well, last week I was mostly watching stuff out at CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show. It's where you get a lot of the tech stuff that's coming out. It's like SHOT Show for computers and stuff.
all right, well here we go. We can run down some popular culture stuff for a second. What about Steven Crowder? What's your thoughts on what's going on with him?
That yeah, it seems like Daily Wire's got a sleazy contract that they're making people sign.
Hey,
And
what about? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it cracks me up that he didn't mention who he was talking about. Daily Wire outed themselves.
Yeah. It definitely, the Daily Wire outed themselves, and it definitely seems like they went full Karen, especially Candace Owens.
Oh, definitely. She
Uh,
definitely did.
but a couple people made the point that Steven Crowder doesn't give a crap about anybody but Steven Crowder and his team. He doesn't care about the 5,000 subscriber YouTube channel out there. You know, and it's kind of odd. A lot of people brought it out that these people keep talking about how good of friends they are. So why is Steven Crowder recording their conversation? So I don't know. I think it's interesting to see. And people also think that, like, okay, Steven Crowder is going to start his own internet thing, so he needs to entice people to come. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's a business model. Of course, that's what you do. When you got a new product, you want as many people to get it as you can.
Hmm.
What are you thinking? I'm not really too sure. It all seems kind of strange. But my biggest takeaway is how big of a reaction the Daily Wire staff is. They've just melted down over
Oh yeah.
it. If I had to vote, Matt Walsh, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder, I'm taking Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
I think he's the most trustworthy and the most uh, what's it called when you're original?
Honest.
Well, honest, yeah, but
Yeah. Um,
not unique.
no, he's not unique. I mean,
Uh,
um,
Genuine. I think
yeah,
he's the most genuine. I'm
yeah,
not going to trust Steven Crowder around my mother, until I've got to hang out with him for a long time and consider him like you. Uh, but if I'm sitting here from this side of the internet and I have to pick a team, Steven Crowder seems like the most legitimate of them all.
yeah. Him and Alonzo Rachel. I don't know if you the one black dude. Um,
I don't know anybody from his team except for
well,
Steven
no, he's not
Crowder.
on Crowder's team. He's another YouTuber
Oh,
who
yeah.
has he's had trouble with YouTube as well, where he's like all kinds of demonetized and stuff, and he doesn't have quite the number of followers as Steven Crowder does, but he's another one. He's a genuine guy.
Well, they talk, like, people keep saying, Daily Wire wants to hire you based on the fact that you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube and you get paid by YouTube. So if you sign that contract and then YouTube stops paying you, you should get demonetized. You should get less money. And I'm like, well, yeah, I understand. Steven Crowder's well aware of the fact that that's what the contract says. What Steven Crowder is saying is you don't need that in the contract.
No,
Take that out of the contract because
yeah,
YouTube, we're supposed to be conservative pundits here and
hmm
activists and all this other kind of crap. So why are you going to base our future, whether it's monetary or just the views or whatever it might be, the clicks, on a platform that openly censors conservatives?
yeah. Like Crowder said in the audio when he was talking to Jeremy from Daily Wire, they changed the rules on the flip of a dime.
But yeah, and you could easily make the contract. Look, uh, we're going to pay you. We want to pay you $2 million based on YouTube and Facebook and all these other commie platforms paying you money to be on there. Uh, or what we could do, because we know that those are all commie platforms, we could pay you $1 million, and you don't got to worry about whether you get kicked off YouTube or not. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
ultimately, I think it's all stupid because Steven Crowder goes out and does the change my minds, to the people I tell us not to talk to, because you're not going to change anybody's mind. You know, the masses, to change my mind is the most effective, because sometimes Steven can get into a civilized crowd and sit down and speak to somebody one-on-one and get them thinking. But most of the people that want to talk to the other side want to go to a rally and go up to the person with the bluest, pinkest hair with the most nose rings, screaming about "I hate guns" and change their opinion. I'm going to go argue with that person. Well, good for you. Like Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is great, but Ben Shapiro has accomplished absolutely nothing for the conservative movement, except for clicks on the internet.
Mm-hmm. I think the best one that changed my mind that Crowder did was on the Second Amendment, when he had those two girls decide that they wanted to go to the gun range with him, and he was going to buy them each a gun, and the one he couldn't because she was underage.
Right. My friend's wife was one of the best experiences that I've had at the gun range with it. What you would call a newbie, I guess. She sat down behind every rifle that anybody ever asked her to shoot. So, 357, 308, 338, 12 gauge shotgun, and then there was 50 BMGs, and she was like, "No, I don't think I want to do that." 8mm, I don't think I want to do that. Shot the 12 gauge and was like, I don't really mind the 12 gauge, but I'm not really, She loved the 308 that my roommates got. Really wasn't a big fan of my 223 varmint rifle, but she loved the AR. Over on the pistol side, she could look at a gun. Doesn't matter what the caliber is, she can look at it and be like, I don't want to shoot that one. And then, like, my M&P Shield is a 40, and it's small, and she loves that gun the most. But then I've got the APX 9mm that she doesn't like at all, and they're like night and day guns as far as recoil and stuff. So it was really cool to watch her independently choose what she liked and what she didn't like, and nobody at the gun range was like, no, come over here and shoot this sawed-off shotgun with one hand. It's going to be funny.
Uh-huh. My wife's favorite gun to shoot is my Smith & Wesson 627 357 Magnum. But that thing's an Smith & Wesson end-frame revolver. It's heavy, which means shooting 357 Magnums through that's like shooting a 38 through a Model 10. It's very little recoil.
Do you listen to any of Rob D's live stream?
I watched some of it.
Oh, just hanging out, talking trash.
Yeah.
I've seen G23's got a problem with his leg.
Yeah, you got an infection or something.
That sucks, man. Man, I got the coughs tonight. You want to do any predicting for any of the big stuff coming up?
Oh, man.
Oh, I got a question before that. What's the point of an hour-long Friday night wrestling show for AEW?
None really. I've been saying they need to make that a 2-hour show since they started it. And sometimes they do have it 2 hours because they'll throw Battle of the Belts on right after. Why don't they just do that every week?
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot what the names. Like, I know Monday Night Raw, so I knew Monday the WWE would be on, and then I remember NXT because Tuesday, and then the AEW I always remember because Rick and Salty Cracker come on that night. And then I couldn't remember if it was Thursday night SmackDown or Friday night SmackDown.
Yeah, it's Friday.
And then I was just hunting through the TV, and I was like, wait a second, AEW is on for an hour? What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, they do Rampage for an hour at 10 o'clock after SmackDown's over.
What do you think about Jungle Boy and Hook kicking the crap out of everybody?
It's an interesting tag team. I don't know how long they're going to keep them together for, if it's going to turn into a feud where they're going to be feuding over the WTF championship or what they're doing with it, but it's an interesting tag team.
Is Mohawk tag team guy gonna break Daniel Bryan's arm? Did you hear about that?
Cage?
Yeah, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Cage. I don't know if they're going to have it where he breaks his arm. But Cage is a good wrestler. I mean, he is underutilized. That guy should be getting a lot more time on screen and stuff than he does. That big guy does moves like Rey Mysterio, for God's sake.
Are they gonna let MJF beat Daniel Bryan, or are they gonna give Bryant the title?
Oof, that's a hard one. I don't know where they're going with that, to be honest with you. It's going to be interesting, though, that 1 hour Iron Man match.
Yeah. They got the NXT match is gonna Tony Hawk versus Rob Reiner. Damn, I can't remember.
Tony Hawk versus Rob Reiner. That would be an interesting match.
I didn't want to say Cab Calloway again, but that's all I could kill is Cab Calloway. And then I can't remember the Brock Steiner's guy's name either.
Oh, Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
Braun
yeah,
Breaker
yeah.
and Von Wagner.
Yeah, and Ron Breaker's actually and Cab Calloway, they're pretty good on the mic too, man. They can talk some good trash.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be in a steel cage match for their rematch.
Yeah, people keep saying that they need to bring Braun up to the main roster, which they really should. That guy is ready. Why they still are keeping him in NXT is beyond me at this point.
But will he be? Right now, he's a big fish in a small pond. But when he goes up to the WWE, is he just going to be a small fish in a big pond, or is he going to be a big fish in a big pond?
Depends on how well they push him. And with Triple H being in charge of booking, you know, it's...
Well, Mohammed bin Salman is in charge now.
But there's not much left for him to do in NXT.
No.
Hey, when they gonna have another NXT takeover?
Probably around WrestleMania time, be my guess.
Just before or after?
No, it'll be before. Last year, I think it was a week before because of doing the 2-night WrestleMania thing.
Yeah.
They used to do one around the Royal Rumble, but they're not this year. So I don't think they are. Because they just had that special episode of NXT on regular TV.
That Jay Cargill chick. Did you see her match? Rich.
Trying to remember.
She had a tag team match again this Wednesday.
I don't remember it.
She had a tag team match against these two, I guess you'd call them jobbers, just two, look like twin black girls, kind of fat black chicks. And her teammate was again pretty hot, but she was like actually friendly with Cargill this time. But this, when they let Cargill in the match, it was you almost had to turn away. You almost felt bad for these chicks. She was just slapping them around and tossing them all over the place. It was brutal, man. But that's the way it should be. She was killing everybody, man. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, like we talked about, was it last week, the week before? That's what they need to be doing with Rhea Ripley in WWE instead of this shit with Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it'd be no problem at all for Rhea Ripley to go through the entire women's division and just choke slam everybody. Just back to back to back to back to back. And then say, give me all the titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could have her set up as the Roman Reigns of the women's division.
Easily. And
Mm-hmm.
she's obviously not that attractive, but she's not as unattractive as I joke around. Grow her hair out a little bit, get that black color out of there. Whatever, change the color. Just no more of that black crap. She's got to stop licking her teeth and do some curls before you come out. Like every night before you get on camera, do 50 curls so her muscles show a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
she could be a superstar.
So, who do you think's going to win the Rumble next Saturday?
All right. On the women's side, I don't know. Isn't there like a new chick that's on in the women's wrestling that's kind of big?
Um, Raquel Gonzalez, is that who you're talking about?
That might be her. I don't know. Becky Lynch maybe probably win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to win the women's. This would have been a perfect opportunity where instead of having Charlotte come back and automatically beat Ronda, they could have had her come back and win the Rumble. And
But
then challenge Ronda.
if I could look up like everybody, like if I had a picture of everybody right now, I'd have a better chance of picking who I think could, because it's hard for me to remember the chicks.
Yeah, I don't even remember who the hell I was in the women's division, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, and sometimes I confuse them with the different TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Do you care to pick a woman's Royal Rumble? Fuck.
Shit like you, I don't know who in the hell's in it.
All right, so let's just move to the guys.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, that's tough because from watching the past, maybe say week and a half, because I haven't really watched all of every show. Some of the characters have been pretty intriguing.
And don't forget, Cody's making his return in the Rumble as well.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find. When is it?
Next Saturday.
So they've already got everybody in it, right? Like there's no more spots to be filled.
Well, there's always surprise entrants that they don't announce.
Yeah.
Being Cody Rhodes.
Well, they've already announced Cody.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they announced that he's going to be in it.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Like a cup. What was that? Was it last year or the year before where I said that Brock was going to lose his title to Lashley and then enter the Royal Rumble and win it? I said it in the pre-show, and then that's exactly what fucking happened.
All right. So who do you think is going to win the Rumble, Rich?
I don't want to see it, but I think Cody. I think they're gonna have Cody Rhodes win it.
I don't know.
What happens to what does the winner get?
Championship match at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns.
Right on.
Isn't Seth Rollins supposed to be coming back? Isn't he hurt?
Rollins, I don't think he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's been feuding with what's his face, Austin Theory, over the U.S. title.
Yeah, I think he said he's going to be in the Royal Rumble too.
Yeah.
Oh man, Bobby Lashley's a good one.
Well, Lashley was storyline fired
When
a few
Friday?
weeks ago. No, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw him on. I've watched it since the last time we've been on it. He was on the TV show.
Yeah, I haven't watched it the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they brought him back or not, but he was fired for attacking a referee
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
no, he's back. Yeah, because he punched one of the referees or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's back. Yeah, because they talked about that. So since you've been watching, he's been back. He could have spent, man, he could have spent all kinds of time in prison in that time. Look at what happened to Dominic.
Yeah. Dominic's life has been totally changed because he went to jail for 24 hours.
What I like is when he's talking to people in the ring, like talking trash to people in the ring, and he's like, "Yo, the time I spent in prison," and then whoever he's talking to clearly like starts laughing in his face. So the other wrestlers are aware of the fact that he was only in jail for like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like they're playing along, making fun of him. I think they're doing a good job of it. Like nobody's buying into it except for that one ring announcer.
Imagine if he said that to Booker T. Booker T did 5 years for armed robbery before he became a wrestler.
I wouldn't say the current upcoming guys. I'd say your record's probably got to be pretty good because of the television commercials and all that kind of stuff. But a bunch of our guys went to prison, went to jail, I'm sure,
Uh-huh.
or should have at least.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, Arn Anderson and Sid Vicious both should have went to jail the night that somehow they got into a fight and a pair of scissors got involved. And to this day, nobody knows for sure who got the scissors out. Even Arn and Sid aren't sure who got how the scissors got into it. But somebody was somehow got a pair of scissors, and they were trying to stab each other with a pair of scissors.
Sometimes you gotta stab somebody. I mean, I understand that.
Man, sometimes you just gotta stab a motherfucker with a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
It's just one of them things.
Yeah. FBI out there listening, we're talking about fictional characters, a television show.
Oh no, this happened for real in a hotel.
FBI, his name is Rich.
Hey, I ain't got no insider information. I just know what the hell has been told.
He may or may not have more than one pair of scissors in his house currently. One of those pair of scissors may even have that little piece of extra plastic on there, what can be considered a brace.
Uh-huh.
Safety scissors aren't really completely made of metal, so they're trying to get past the 3D the metal detectors.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely got a knife in his hand right now.
Yeah. An automatic flipper. Or assisted open flipper, I should say, not automatic.
I prefer the switchblade to the automatic knife. The automatic knife I got.
Well, an automatic is a switchblade.
Well, I'm using extreme technicalities here because a switchblade is that
The same switchblade.
where the blade, like, I know you're using the flipper, but I'm talking about that type of action where the blade flips out. Is what I
Right,
consider.
you're talking about out the front versus a standard opening.
And then the knife that comes out the front, I'm not a big fan of.
No, me neither. I got a couple of them, but I don't like them. I prefer the one that swings out.
Yeah, and that's just for neatness of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, if I'm gonna stab somebody, I want one of those right there.
Oh, this is stronger. This is a stronger mechanism.
Well, yeah, that's not. I mean, the switchblades are toys. Remember the switchblade combs?
Uh-huh.
Those were awesome.
Yeah, it looked like the stiletto, the Italian stiletto style switchblades.
Those things were awesome.
Mm-hmm. Buddy of mine tried taking one of those and using razor blades to make it turn it into a real knife. It didn't work very well.
No, I can't imagine.
He took the comb part out of the little aluminum rail that the comb sat in, and tried breaking the blades off on razor blades, and then sliding the razor blade in and tried getting that to squeeze down and where it would hold the blades in place. Like, dude, that's not gonna work.
I mean, they put super glue in there. Super glue inside the track and super glue the blades in place.
Uh-huh. One time at a flea market, I got a toy knife where it was like one of those out the front knives, but in reverse, where like if you act like you were stabbing somebody with it, the blade would go down into the handle. Took that to school one day and really fucked with one of my teachers. Me and my buddy act like I stabbed him. She thought I actually stabbed him because the blade disappears into the handle.
Yeah, those things were pretty cool.
So
It's
how
like,
many
oh my
days out of
god, what
school
did you just
get?
do?
How many days did you get rich?
None.
Yeah,
Got
he was probably
detention.
at some type of religious school. They probably kicked his ass.
No, I got detention. I had after school detention, and my stepfather had to come pick me up from school. Then I got my ass beat.
Yeah, we had a teacher in high school, a voyage teacher. We were in there and he asked us if anybody had a knife. So a friend of mine, he pulled his out, handed it to him. He used it, put it back, and then sent his ass to the principal for having a knife in school. I said, damn.
Set your buddy up, man.
My friend, his next door neighbor's house got robbed or burglarized or however you want to terminologize. Basically, like, what happened is some punk kid probably broke in and like rooted to his house, and my friend was home next door, witnessed all kinds of stuff. So he went, I don't know what I'm coughing for.
Hey, I'll be right back.
He went home. His mom calls and was like, hey, the cops wanted to know if you could come up here and talk to them about, give a witness statement to, anything you saw today. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll be right up. Hopped in his car, drove up to the house, talked to the police, gave a witness statement, went to go leave, and the cops arrested him for driving on a suspended license.
It was one time when I was in high school. It was at my friend's house, and cops show up and arrested him. Apparently, earlier that morning, and I had missed it because I was in the drill team practice in junior RTC, and they arrested him because he had sat in a car that this one dude brought to the school. The car was stolen, and his keys that had his name on it or something fell out of his pocket, and that's how. And so he was arrested, and then his dad had to go get him out of jail and everything. He didn't get charged with anything, but they arrested him and took him in and questioned him and everything about it.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I wouldn't say it's as many as like Hollywood would tell you, but how many people get picked up from jail in stolen cars? Like, Rich is getting out of jail today. Me and Buck show up to pick you up in a stolen car.
Yeah, somehow I can see that happening. Yeah, this would have been 91, I think, when that happened. And the dude showed up in a stolen 5.0 that he had taken off a lot. The guy didn't just steal somebody's Mustang 5.0 off the street. No, he stole one off the freaking lot. That took some real smarts right there.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Seems awful suspicious.
All right, I'm back. We had a possum out there, the dog going ballistic over. That bitch was right sitting up on top of the damn fence. Had to knock him off with the pool stick.
Did you see that lady that her daughter got attacked by the raccoon and she had to throw the raccoon across the yard?
Yeah, I seen that.
That was like a month or so ago.
Yeah, I was waiting for that bitch to jump on me.
The best one that I saw recently, it's an older clip, but I've only seen it recently. It's in Australia, and they're over like they're driving over a bridge. It's a small bridge, not like a giant bridge or anything like that. And apparently there's a koala bear kind of sitting on the side of the road on the bridge. This lady figures it's a good idea to get out of the car, and she's gonna save the koala bear from being in the street. Dude on the other side of the road's filming it, going, "Man, you're gonna regret this, lady." Like, you can hear him talking to the camera, and she's all googity 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 walking up to this thing. She gets maybe 2 or 3 feet away from it, and it just jumps up and attacks her.
Oh, yeah. Koalas will fuck you up.
Clawing all over her upper body, she falls down, and it hops on top of her and does like an orangutan type of smash with its hands, and then finally runs off.
Yeah, people think koalas are all nice and cute and cuddly, so they can't possibly be dangerous. A koala will fuck your day up.
Yeah, she gave this. I mean, to be fair, the lady was a fat, probably 40 some odd year old lady. But regardless of that, even a fit person, don't mess with the koala bears. Leave them alone.
So, yeah, Stephen, what's his, shit, the crocodile hunter, the hell was Irwin, Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the animals he hated having to go in their pen was the koalas. Because he's like, they will muck your day up. Don't muck with a koala.
Do you guys care about the Carol Baskin person? The Tiger King person?
Not really. I don't give a shit about that show to begin with.
I never watched it.
I don't know anything about anything. Like, I've never seen it. I couldn't tell you what the Carol Baskin person looks like, but I've seen the Tiger King person's face on the internet, and apparently he asked Joe Biden for a pardon, and then the Carol Baskin lady, she was on a radio show that I listened to, and because she made it basically illegal for regular people to own big cats, and she spearheaded that thing, so now you can't have a tiger in your house anymore or whatever. And everybody apparently thought that she killed her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she said on the radio, she was like, no, like the last thing I heard is he lived in Costa Rica or something like that. She was like, I didn't kill my husband. I don't know where he's at. He did his own thing. And on the news the other day, they found the dude in Costa Rica. Like, so he's alive, and she didn't kill him, apparently.
Yeah, 'cause the thing was, Sarge and Snob and Obi, and I think even Gary watched that shit, and they were always talking about it in the after chat after Gary's show. The whole thing was that everybody thought she fed her husband to a tiger.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the radio. That's what the lady on the radio. She was like, "Look, I'd hate. I don't want to go this way, but having you on the show, we don't ask you at least." She was like, "No, go ahead, go ahead." She was like, "Well, people think you fed your husband to a cat." She was like, "No, I didn't. He left me basically."
And one thing I remember them always talking about too was, oh, you can't shoot a Ruger without a magazine in it. Boom! The idiot. The idiot killed himself.
Who's that? One of the Tiger King people?
Yeah. On the show, apparently said that you can't shoot a Ruger without the magazine in it, and then promptly shot himself with the Ruger with the magazine not in it.
Wow, wow. Uh, I'm not. I guess that breaks all four fundamental rules immediately.
Uh-huh. That is a clear case of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Wow.
I can field strip my pistols, take the barrel completely out, and I still don't look down the barrel. I ain't pointing that thing nowhere near me. I'll wipe it out and put it back in.
That's what I don't understand. Like, you hear about all these people shooting themselves while they're cleaning their guns, and like, how? How is that possible? How is that even remotely possible?
I mean, you would think the first step to cleaning your gun is unloading it.
Right.
Well, you got to pull the slide back anyway. You
Well,
know, get the release pins down.
the my roommate's wife came in the room maybe a month or so ago, and she said I can't remember how she asked, but she said it was basically asking about accidental discharges, and I said they really, I mean, they don't exist. I say you can't say that they don't exist because sometimes a gun will malfunction. It's broken and bad things happen. But any other time a gun goes bang, it's negligence. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an accident. It's negligence. Obi, it'll give you a perfect example. He was goofing around, not paying attention, and when he thought he had an empty gun, he didn't. So he put a hole in his wall. That wasn't an accident. That was negligence. And, I mean, that's what he said. So I'm not like talking about him while he's not here to defend himself. Those were his words.
Yeah, he did a whole video on it right after it happened.
I shared that video with every young person that I know that likes guns, man. And uh, God, you can't take any of that stuff for granted, man.
On that front, what do you think about the charge against Alec Baldwin finally?
You want to go first, Buck?
Yeah, it's bullshit. They ain't gonna do a damn thing to him. I think a lot more went on than what they're saying. Me personally.
I don't know anything. I've heard about the conspiracy behind pedophile thing and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't look into that. Ultimately, I don't care what happens to any of these people. They all deserve what they get. But objectively, just looking at the situation, I don't think that you can hold Alec Baldwin criminally liable for anything. Uh, really, the only thing that he's got going against him is he was the boss. He was in charge. So all of it's going to eventually come to his door for how this happened. If he was aware of them playing with the gun and shooting at bottles and all that kind of junk on set, and he didn't fire them, okay, maybe then he could be criminally negligent. But if he didn't know about that part, I can't see how he could be criminally negligent for, I hired you to hand me a gun that I can safely use in this movie. That was your job. I'm actor Alec Baldwin here now. I'm not producer Alec Baldwin. I need you to do your job. Civilly, I think he's got a big problem civilly, because he pointed a gun at somebody and shot, hurt two people, killed one of them.
Oh,
The armor, I think, can be found criminally negligent because she was playing with the gun the day before on the set or whatever it was.
But you had the assistant director who pled down to a lesser charge of assault with a deadly weapon, and the armorer and Alec Baldwin are both charged with involuntary manslaughter. And one of the things that could hurt Baldwin on this is they found not only did he have live round in the revolver, there were live rounds on the gun belt he was wearing also.
Yeah,
Well, I never heard that.
That just came out the other day when the charges were announced.
There's where the boss, the executive producer or whatever his title would be, has got a problem because he's responsible for everything.
Mm-hmm.
The actor Alec Baldwin is not responsible. I hear a bunch of people who it seems really unreasonable to me to be mad at Alec Baldwin for not checking the gun that the armorer just handed him. That's not that's I super gun people that are on the internet that only talk about guns 24 hours a day say that kind of stuff. Alec Baldwin is an actor who's relying on the professional firearms expert that handed them a gun that I'm about to point at another human being and pull the trigger on. That's not Alec Baldwin's responsibility to check that gun when it's handed to him. It's not. It isn't. That's what the armorer is hired for. That's what the director, Alec Baldwin, hired that armorer for.
Well, he was the executive producer, not the director.
Well,
but another thing, though, that doesn't go in his favor is that was his personal gun that that the armorer had for him. So remember, we don't know the whole story either. We don't know what all evidence they gathered.
Now, right there is where I'd love for a stupid law to come back and bite him in the butt. Did you fill out a 4473 when you handed that armorer the gun? Because if I hand the guy standing at the range next to me at my gun, now I gotta.
If the movie were being filmed in California, you might have a case, but it was being filmed in New Mexico.
My roommate doesn't have an HQL, so when he's shooting at the rifle range, when I'm shooting at the rifle range, he can't take my handguns over to the pistol side without me.
That's absolutely stupid.
I don't know. So what do you think, Rich? I mean, with what we got on the table right now, do your internet lawyer.
No, man. Yeah, I think he could see a year, maybe a little more than a year, and locked up if he doesn't plead it down, like what the assistant director did. I think the assistant director is going to testify against him personally. Why he pled it down?
I think the biggest thing is coming in civil court.
Yeah, there's no
I
way he
think
can escape that.
Oh no,
uh,
yeah, there's no way he's escaping that.
And see O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson had the advantage of going broke paying for lawyers. So when he got found civilly guilty and didn't pay up, he was supposed to give over his Heisman Trophy and his football and his uniform and all that kind of crap. Alec Baldwin's apparently got some assets,
Hmm.
you know. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with just not paying.
No, and unlike the OJ situation, he's going to have insurance to cover if any of this kind of stuff happens as well, which is going to help offset some of that
Right
cost that he would come out of his pocket.
right from the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
So you said the other dude pled down. What did he? What did he? So he's put in a guilty verdict then, right?
Yeah, he pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon.
All right. So I mean, Alec Baldwin is a psychopathic narcissist. There's no way in the world that he's going to admit to anything wrong, right?
That would be my guess.
So he's gonna go to court and get found guilty and get 18 years.
No, he's
Oh,
involuntary manslaughter, depending on the state, carries a maximum 5 years, maybe 10, depending on the state. And depending on how the state is, there are different counts even within involuntary manslaughter is different levels. So it depends on what all the actual charge is and what the prosecutor's looking and time and all that happy horse shit. So anywhere between 1 to 5 years would be my guess if he's convicted.
well, like I said, I don't care about any of them because they hate all of us more than we could even understand how much they hate us. But sadly enough, the woman's family is, they're missing their family member. I mean, she was killed
Mm-hmm.
just doing her job, taking pictures at a movie scene. I was, one. So, at least there's going to be a court case to find out. Hopefully, it's a fair court case. And if Alec Baldwin's found not guilty by a fair trial, then so be it. But at least the family's getting a chance to find out what really happened. And if there's some goofballs playing around, they need to be held responsible.
Yeah. Like you said, the main reason I think that he should be found or held accountable is because he was in charge, and there have been numerous reports from union members and stuff that said that set was not safe.
yeah, I heard a lot of people walked out like a week or two before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, so it's probably might be a really, really terrible thing anyway. But as a gun manufacturer, I'm sitting here thinking, do I get involved in this? Do I politically, or
Oh hell no! If you're
do I get
Uberti,
involved in the media?
no, Uberti isn't going to. Their Uberti's parent company, Beretta, they ain't going to say shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, hold up, wait a second. Every time a criminal kills another criminal in one of our big cities, some politician comes out and says X gun company needs to be held reliable for this. So Alec Baldwin should be held completely liable for every single round that's in that on that movie set. If you found 50 live rounds, he should get 50 years for each round.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely I personally, I think involuntary manslaughter is going easy. Should have got negligent homicide, which carries a heavier penalty. Then he would definitely be looking at 10 years for negligent homicide compared to involuntary manslaughter.
But that's what I mean. Who are you? That's what I'm trying to understand. Who are you charging with that? Are you charging the actor?
Him. Yeah, him. He's Alec Baldwin as the guy that's in charge of everything that happens on that set should be charged with negligent homicide.
That's okay. That's exactly the distinction I wanted you to give, because Alec Baldwin, the actor, didn't do anything wrong. Unless he was goofing around. If he was actually rehearsing like he said he was, then he did nothing wrong. If he was goofing around, that's a different story. But just going by his word, which we know he's a lying, cheating, rotten bastard, but just going by his word that he was rehearsing, actor Alec Baldwin did nothing wrong. The boss, Alec Baldwin, is in big trouble, because he's responsible for everything that happens on the set, and you allow this to go on repeatedly, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, according to multiple sources that have spoken on the incident, they would be out there shooting live rounds on the set.
Yeah.
Which you're by motion picture bylaws and I believe may even be federal law on a movie set. You are not supposed to be doing that shit.
Dude, you can go through the internet from Yankee Marshal to Military Arms to C4 Defense to Travis P11 to Jason Stewart's channel. Not one person and anybody that I know on the internet that's legitimate firearms person on the internet ever, they tell you when you dry fire, go into a room that has no ammunition in it.
Mm-hmm.
And these Bald and Curious has been shooting competition. Christopher in the 740 been shooting competition. All these guys, Pop's Quest, been shooting competition all this time. Professional gun guys tell you, leave your ammunition in this room, empty the gun, clear, 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 go into an empty room with no ammunition in it and do your dry firing. And we're supposed to be Yahoo goofballs on the internet that don't know no better.
Another thing that hurts Baldwin, though, and this goes to the point you made about him checking the firearm, was I can't remember the guy's name. I always forget the guy's name, but he's the one that's in charge of IFF, International Film Service, IFS, whatever it is, the big one that they did Hollywood Weapons, where they test all the myths and everything about what they do with guns in Hollywood. He said that when an actor is handed a gun, they are supposed to check that firearm. And he's been the armorer on numerous motion pictures. So I don't know.
The
So
one
there
thing
is that.
The one thing that we haven't talked about yet, which I think is the biggest problem in the entire thing, aside from the fact the 4 rules. Obviously, pointing the gun at a woman, whatever, all that kind of stuff, but they are on a movie set. The dude said he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And
That's bullshit.
I've got a revolver right behind me. You both got revolvers. And we just got normal modern revolvers. It won't go off no matter what you do if you don't pull the trigger. And those older guns ain't going off if you didn't pull the trigger. A million videos came out to prove it. That is all right, here you go. You guys gotta tell me which one you think ranks dumber. Alec Baldwin says that his gun went off and he didn't pull the trigger, or the black dude that said when you drop the bolt on an AR-15, it goes off.
Oh
Which one's
God,
dumber?
which one? I don't think either. I think they're equally dumb. To be perfectly honest, it's hard to rank either one of those as being dumber because they're both pretty damn stupid things, as we say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them stupid as hell.
Oh, and okay, once again for the legal team, if Alec Baldwin can prove that his gun was broken, then I'm willing to listen to the "it went off when I didn't pull the trigger."
And the only problem with that, the way a single action army pattern revolver works, as soon as he pulled that hammer back and let it go, it would went off.
Well, that's functionally pulling the trigger though. And
No, if
what?
you just cock the hammer and and if the trigger is broken, it's not going to catch the hammer when you pull it back. So if he pulled back the hammer and let it go, as soon as he pulled that hammer back and took his thumb off the hammer, is when it went off, which isn't what happened in this
Right,
situation.
right. I tried to explain to my dad. I said, from the way he explained it, what Alec Baldwin did is he depressed the trigger and he pulled the hammer down. And what he did was he let go because he just screwed up and he let the hammer drop while the trigger was pulled. And that makes the gun go off. That you just pulled the trigger, idiot.
Yeah. The only other way that it would have went off by itself is if he would have dropped it, which that style of revolver is known to have happened, which is why when you're carrying one for any length of time, you carry it on an empty cylinder. On an
And
empty chamber in the cylinder, I should say. You only load it with 5 rounds, and you have to hammer down on an empty chamber because the 1873 pattern Colt was known not to be drop safe.
okay, Buck, break out your calculator mind. We need some percentages.
Now
What
you
is the
asked the wrong one.
What is the percentage? If he dropped his gun, what is the percentage of a chance that he killed a person and shot another one by dropping that gun?
Uh,
Now
very slim.
you also have the added benefit of nobody said that yet,
Oh no, I'm not.
except for
No,
Rich
I'm not
Paul.
saying that's what happened. I'm saying
No,
the only other way it could have possibly went off by itself
right,
is
but
if he
that's what I
dropped it.
mean. You're the only one who's ever mentioned the gun being dropped. Alec Baldwin didn't say that. He said I didn't
Right.
pull the trigger. He
I'm
didn't.
not saying he did drop it.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you be quiet and listen to what I'm telling you. You're saying something that he should have said to defend himself. He should have said I dropped it,
Mhm.
because then he'd have a legitimate argument.
Except he's on camera not dropping it,
Hey, you
potentially.
delete that film. You can delete that film, man. Shoot somebody else. Shoot over whoever's got the film. you already got 2 bodies. What's one more?
Well, he's got one body and one guy that's hurt. Because the bullet went through her and hit the guy behind her.
Wow, man. I think he was goofing off. And
Well, they were supposed to have been rehearsing for the scene that was coming up, and he pulled the trigger like he was supposed to in the scene, and pop.
I heard somewhere on that set that somebody said he kept pointing the gun at people all day long.
That's possible too, but like I said, there have been multiple reports that the set wasn't safe. That
this
people
is
were doing stuff on set that they shouldn't have been doing.
this is the 21st century, right?
I believe so.
Okay. The year that he shot that woman was what, 2021?
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
Why do they have real guns on movie sets anyway?
Because you have to use a real gun to get the appearance of the real gun and for the function. You get a rubber gun and it's not going to look right.
I don't know, man. I think that they could take a replica make it fairly functional with no firing pin, and just have to bite the bullet. And to steal a pun there, rest in peace, lady who bit Alec Baldwin's bullet. And then just edit in the boom and the flash.
Well, there's more to it than that, because you got the guns when they're holstered and everything. It's not going to look right. And remember, these guns, there's not supposed to be live rounds on the movie set. This should never have happened, because there should never have been live rounds on that set.
They've got those CO2 pistols right now that people use to dry fire. You could use a CO2 pistol that'll give you the cycle of the action.
Well, no, that's a real gun that you put a CO2 mechanism into.
Yeah, right. I know.
But it's still a real gun. You still have a real gun there.
But there's no ammunition involved.
Yeah, I know. But the only ammunition...
You take the blanks out of and just CGI the blanks.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying the reason why they have the actual real gun is because a real gun is going to look real in the movie and everything, whereas a fake gun isn't. But yeah, you can use the... Hold on, let me finish. You can use the CO2 mechanism like what you're saying instead of using a blank. Why they don't do that part, I don't know. But the part of actually using the real gun to answer that question is for the realism.
And as a consumer, I appreciate that. I do. You know, I'm not the kind of guy that sits through a movie and goes, "Oh, he shot a revolver 12 times without reloading." I don't care about that kind of stuff. Especially a lot of the gun movies where they shoot a revolver 36 times. That's the best part of the movie. But I do enjoy the fact that, you know, they have the bang and the boom and they have real-looking guns. I appreciate movies being realistic. So, as a consumer, I understand that completely. But this far ahead, the CO2 and, you know, especially if you want to talk about safety and, you know, all this other kind of stuff that you talk about, negative guns, edit in the bang. Or just do us a favor and keep our guns out of your movies altogether.
Well, it's hard to film a Western without a gun.
Well, okay, so now we just need to start dividing things. And cool people who have decent ideas and like guns and stuff can make Western movies all they want. All the blue hairs have to make movies about gay romance novels and falling in love on the subway. Hoping that you didn't get pushed into the third rail by some crackhead while you're waiting.
Well, it only happens if you're Asian.
All right.
Well, on that note, I think we need to wrap this up. We've been going for 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
So,
talked about wrestling for a little while.
Yeah, we did. Well, you know, we don't just talk about wrestling on the show. We've talked about, you know, other things happening in pop culture before. So, you know, the Alec Baldwin thing fits that narrative. So.
That's gun related.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also pop culture related because it's, you know, it happened on a movie set and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hillbilly Up just went live, so go check him out.
All right. What about you, Buck?
Thanks for the invite. And had a great time tonight.
No problem. Thanks to both of you for jumping on. Appreciate that. And on that note, we will bid y'all adieu for tonight, and we will catch y'all hopefully tomorrow night on This Week Unloaded on the Unloaded Media channel. Until then, we will leave you with this.
You guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this